What if Sung Jinwoo could only steal powers from enemies he defeated? Sung Jinwoo's canon power works because it gives him growth and command. The system trains his body. Then Shadow Extraction gives him Igris, Iron, Tank, Tusk, Kaisel, and Beru. Remove that one piece and the whole story changes. He doesn't have a shadow army, and there are no loyal soldiers. Dead enemies don't kneel to him after battle either. Well, what if his only special ability was much crueler and more limited? What if every enemy he personally defeated gave him a piece of their power? No soul or any loyalty, just the ability ripped out and grafted into his own flesh. I found 3 ways this story could continue. In the first theory, Jinwoo becomes strong, but never becomes a shadow monarch. The double dungeon still starts everything. Jinwoo survives the statues, wakes in the hospital, and sees the screen. But he doesn't get any daily quests or stat points. There's only one rule: defeat, claim, adapt. That sounds ominous. That's because it is. He soon learns how ugly it is. Unlike canon Jinwoo, he can't grind safely by doing push-ups, nor can he dump points into strength. He can't heal from effort alone. If he wants stronger legs, better senses, poison resistance, stealth, claws, magic, anything, he has to kill something that already has it. So the early story becomes far rougher for him. The instance dungeon with goblins and wolves doesn't serve as a tutorial anymore. When Jinwoo kills a goblin, he gets crude grip strength and a dirtied weapon instinct. When he kills a steel-fanged lichen, his hearing sharpens so violently that normal streets hurt. When he beats the blue venom-fanged Kayoka, the system offers him venom sac, scale-like skin, or snake reflexes. He can only choose one. He chooses venom resistance. That choice saves his life later, but also means he doesn't get the clean physical stats canon Jinwoo had. He has to build himself like a patchwork hunter. A little monster speed here, a little dungeon boss durability there. Throw a little assassin instinct on top after defeating Kang Tae-shik. A little stealth from enemies that hunt by disappearing doesn't hurt either. Anyway, every gain has a cost, because the stolen instincts need him to adapt as they didn't originally belong to him. This Jinwoo gets stronger, but slower. The job change quest becomes his first major nightmare. In canon, that quest gives him the Necromancer class and starts the Shadow Army. Here it becomes a trial against knights, assassins, mages, and Igris, with no reward awaiting except theft. Jinwoo can't raise Igris after defeating him, and can only take something from him. And Igris is the first power that changes the Shadow build, as Jinwoo steals royal swordsmanship. He doesn't get a special dagger weapon, nor does he get to revive soldiers. A battle memory is all he gets. To be fair, this is by no means irrelevant. He becomes battle-ready like a medieval executioner, and has an intense aura like the feeling Igris had when he stood like a commander in an empty throne room. But the important thing is that Jinwoo walks out alone without saying arise. That's the first path, and it's much lonelier from the start. This Jinwoo eventually becomes an S-rank level anomaly, but he refuses Jeju. Unlike the canon, he can't swap with his shadows. He watches the broadcast, sees the Ant King tear through the raid, and is helpless. Korea curses him for staying away. Jinwoo accepts it. In the end, he simply keeps protecting his mother and sister, ending this route alive but disgraced. He survives because he never reaches for the crown, so he doesn't get chased as the king of the humans. Now in the second theory, Jinwoo tries to become the hero anyway, and the lack of a shadow army destroys him. This version begins the same way, but Jinwoo makes different choices. He stops thinking defensively and starts hunting specific powers like ingredients. From Baruka, the ice elf, he takes cold resistance and frost-coated blades. From demon castle beasts, he steals heat tolerance, wing burst movement, and a short explosive dash that burns mana like fuel. From Vulcan, he takes impact force, letting each punch land like a siege weapon before his bones scream. By the time he returns from the demon castle, rather than having a shadow army, he moves like a shadow instead, and cuts like Igris, poisons like Kayoka, and tanks blows through stolen demon toughness. Chahain notices his scent keeps changing. Some days he smells like blood and cold air, some days like poison, some days like an old dungeon gate left open too long. But every power is trapped inside one body. Canon Jinwoo could split attention. Shadows could guard his family, scout tunnels, hold back mobs, rescue healers, and swarm bosses. This Jinwoo can't. If his sister is in danger, he has to physically be there. If a healer falls behind him, he has to turn around. If 10 ants rush 10 different hunters, he can only stop one direction at a time. In this timeline, he decides to go to Jeju anyway. At first, it almost works. He lands like a nuke and reaches the Korean team before the Ant King leaves the chamber. Everyone sees hope. Baek Junho thinks another monster has come to fight their monster. Cha recognizes Jinwoo under the stolen blood. Then the Ant King adapts. The Ant King is also a natural-born power thief who evolves by eating. It takes Min Byung-gyu's healing. It learns from every strong body it devours. Their fight becomes a mirror match, and Jinwoo loses the mirror. Frost cuts the Ant King's shell, but healing closes the wound. Venom fails. Impact blows knock it back, but its wings recover the distance. Jinwoo tries to use Igris' sword memory, and the Ant King simply grows faster mid-fight. One claw opens his ribs, another crushes his shoulder. The poison finally gets past his resistance. The hunters try to save him, but without shadows, there's no wall between the Ant King and the wounded. Jinwoo watches Cha get thrown aside, watches Baek collapse, watches the raid formation break apart. He kills a few ants to steal more power, but none of it closes the gap. This route ends with Jinwoo dying on Jeju. The Ant King leaves the island stronger after eating him. It gains frost blades, assassin movement, poison resistance, and Igris-level sword instinct twisted through an ant body. Korea loses its S ranks, and Japan loses Goto and most of its strike team. The worst magic beast on Earth gets the one hunter who might have stopped it. But the third theory is the true nightmare scenario, worse than death itself. In this version, Jinwoo reaches Jeju, loses to the Ant King, and chooses the one answer that should never be available. The start is terrible. Jinwoo arrives late, already carrying stolen powers from Kasaka, Taishik, Igris, Baruka, Vulcan, and the Demon Castle. He has venom resistance, stealth, frost blades, monster hearing, explosive movement, impact force, and royal swordsmanship. He's become OP by carving useful pieces out of everything that tried to kill him. For a few minutes, it looks like enough. He blocks the Ant King's claws with hardened skin. He freezes one wing and cuts the joints. He uses stolen killing intent to predict the angle of the next strike. The Korean hunters rally because Jinwoo is standing in front of them like a one-man wall. Then the wall cracks. The Ant King heals and laughs. It's already eaten Min Byung-gyu, so every wound Jinwoo earns gets stolen back by regeneration. It smashes him through the chamber floor, punches through his sides, and injects poison deep enough that even Kasaka's resistance starts failing. Jinwoo realizes the truth that against an enemy too strong to beat, his whole power system becomes useless. Then the system message appears. Emergency claim available. The enemy can't be defeated with current vessel. Additional compatible powers nearby. Jinwoo understands before the system explains. Compatible powers are the S-rank hunters he was trying to protect. Cha Hain attacks again, bleeding and furious. Baek Yun-ho transforms and throws himself at the Ant King. Chui Jong-in fills the chamber with fire. Ma Dong-wook plants himself between the monster and the wounded. The surviving Japanese S-ranks join because the Ant King is about to reach the coast. It's heroic, sure. It's also exactly what the system needs to induce even more despair. Jinwoo refuses at first. He screams at the screen. He tries to stand on his own power. The Ant King breaks Baek's arm, rips through Ma's guard, and turns toward the ships waiting offshore. If it reaches the mainland, his mother, his sister, and millions of civilians are next, so Jinwoo breaks. He kills Chui first because firepower is what he needs immediately. One dagger to the heart, one apology, and his veins fill with flame. He kills Ma and steals fortress defense. He kills Baek and takes beast transformation, not for the full white tiger form, but for the explosive muscles, claw pressure, and predatory acceleration. He kills the remaining Japanese hunters for sword forms, reinforcement, mana output, and sensory range. Every ability claim makes him stronger, yet every time he does it, it makes him feel smaller inside. Cha is last. She's already dying from the Ant King's strike. Jinwoo begs for another answer. There is none. Cha understands, because she can smell what he is becoming. She gives him permission with her eyes. When he takes her power, he gains her sword grace, her blinding footwork, and her sensitivity to corrupted magic. Now he can smell himself. He smells worse than the Ant King. The rematch is not even close. Jinwoo becomes a walking grave of S-rank abilities. Fire wraps around. Beast muscle drives Igris' sword memory. Ma's defense keeps his shattered body moving. Cha's speed lets him cross the chamber before the Ant King can fully react. The Ant King tries to heal, but Chui's stolen flames keep the wounds open. He tries to fly, and Baek's stolen force drags him down. He tries to devour him, and Jinwoo cuts through his mouth from the inside. Finally, he kills it. Then he claims the Ant King too. Wings, regeneration, paralysis poison, predatory evolution, the stolen healing magic that came from Min Byung-gyu. Jinwoo becomes the strongest hunter alive in one night, but there's no Beru kneeling, nor any shadow army cheering for its king. When the rescue team arrives, Jeju is dead silent. The Ant King is dead. Every S-rank is dead. Jinwoo is standing alone with wings folded behind him, and Cha's sword style still shaking in his hands. Korea calls him a hero because the island was saved. Jinwoo knows better. He can beat monarchs later. Of course he can. He has Ant King evolution, S-rank techniques, boss durability, poison, fire, frost, speed, and healing all inside one body. But every new victory after Jeju feels stolen. Every power has a face attached to it. The third theory ends with him winning and staying alive, but only by becoming a living grave for the hunters he murdered. Canon Jinwoo commands the dead. This one carries them inside his own body. And by the end, every stolen power feels like another voice asking why he survived. But that begs the question, what would happen if Jinwoo knew everything that would happen in the world from the start? Well, that's the subject of this other video. Click on this video to see what it would be like if Jinwoo was reincarnated with all his memories. Go ahead, click it.